Hi guys, I've got coffee. I need it today. I hope you're all having a good day. I actually want to get on here and have a chat about um, people who convert to organized religion, traditional religious views from spiritualist, pagan, or New Age practices. Um, Obviously, the big name that comes to mind for me is Doreen Virtue. And over the past probably year, we've seen her continually, um, I would actually say, really, I would actually say probably attack um, the uh, the beliefs that she previously held. Um, but I don't actually want to. I'm not here to actually criticize the the reasons for people who choose to go to Christianity. Um, what I am actually here to do is propose um, essentially the blessings of such a thing. So when figures like Doreen Virtue or others leave the community, essentially what it does is it opens us to evaluate and reevaluate what our beliefs are, what our practices are. We are challenged to affirm what we believe. Uh, with regards to Doreen Virtue's work, a lot of people after her conversion to Christianity uh, did away with her books, did away with her cards. They suddenly felt that they could no longer work with that material. There was a lot of talk that she was sending out vibes via her cards that were essentially sabotaging people's work. Um, I don't agree with that. Essentially, the way I see it, if you have a deck of cards, they are your cards. You're the one that's built the relationship with that deck. Effectively, the only reason why she would be negatively influencing you through those cards is because you are letting her, through doubt, through perhaps, I don't know, um, the fact that you're upset that she's gone down that path. So I dealt with that as well. I've got a lot of her decks, and I had to decide for myself whether or not I would keep them, whether or not I would still work with them. The material she had previously published is still useful, even if she herself no longer holds to what she taught. So her absence from the community forced us to really grow into our own expression, grow into, well, what is authentic for us? Are we doing this stuff just to follow a public figure, or is it actually meaningful for us? Like, is it authentic for us? Do we believe it, or are we just simply following celebrity? So a lot of people were very upset, and rightly so, rightly so. Um, a lot of people have followed her lead and returned to more traditional views of spirituality, uh, faith, whatever, and that's cool. The way I see it, it was actually through Doreen Virtue leaving the community that I stumbled across Amanda Ellis, who is a wonderful color therapist. She works with Archangel Metatron. She's been doing lovely channelings lately with the Heart Squad. Um, and she's just, yeah, a very honest, authentic person. And if it wasn't for Doreen Virtue leaving, I would not have discovered other people who um, are very grounded, very resourceful, very honest, very sincere, very direct and to the point. Um, so, in a way, instead of going, oh no, she's left, what do we do? See it as an opportunity within yourself to actually speak your truth. The door has been opened. Often, what we do when we find a celebrity, when we attach ourselves to a teacher, we kind of have them as the wall. We don't want to express certain things that maybe I don't want to say is beyond what they're teaching, but is like counter or perhaps outside what they teach. So we use their teachings as kind of the fence. We fence ourselves in, and they are the barrier to perhaps moving onwards. So when a person like Doreen or anyone else that is big in the community leaves, they open the gateway. They open the gateway to new possibilities, new energies, new teachings, new personalities, and a new flavor. Um, and look, with someone like Doreen Virtue, I hope she's finding her peace where she is. Um, I, as of early this year, I helped the Uniting Church with their vote for essentially securing marriage equality in their congregations for those that chose to hold marriages for same-sex couples. And that kind of came off the back of spiritual burnout last year. I was burnt out. For me, I took on too much responsibility, and everything that I tried to do worked out perfectly. It was wonderful, but it was just too much for me. So I don't know. I went in. I caught up with I found a community, a wonderful church community, and they are wonderful people. Wonderful people. If you if you ever need to reconcile any hang-ups you have with Christianity or Christ, by all means, go see the Church of the Trinity, and in Goodwood here in Adelaide, because they're a lovely bunch of people. But yeah, it was kind of too much, too fast, too soon. And so I moved back to my hometown to figure out who I was myself. So over the past 6 months now, yeah, around that, about that time, I've been really reflecting on who I am and what's meaningful for me. And what's really kind of cool now is having returned to Minlaton. My old meditation group have really grown in leaps and bounds. They've achieved so much. There's now an actual meditation yoga studio here in Minlaton. And when I left 12 years ago, I would never have expected that, ever. So it's really cool. And there are workshops happening, drumming workshops, weekly yoga, meditation workshops, women's empowerment workshops. It's amazing to see. It really is. And I kind of, having returned, I'm like, well, maybe that's why I'm back. And we'll see. So really, these videos are me finally expressing my voice, and that's because I've been inspired by people like Amanda Ellis, who I met because Doreen Virtue left the community. So we find our inspirations when people leave, when people pack up and go, when people also turn around and perhaps judge um, their old beliefs. It opens up an opportunity for new faces, new people. Um, what I also wanted to say is that the reason why people like Doreen or people who have converted to uh, older, traditional, organized, institutionalized religions attack their former beliefs is because it's validation. They're trying to justify and validate and reinforce the beliefs they now currently hold. And in order to do that, they discredit or dismiss or disassemble the beliefs they previously held. It's all about making the new foundation steady, and unfortunately, the way they do that is by attacking the previous foundation. Think of what's the term? It's like a um, where you kind of like burn off the old completely, wipe it out, salt the earth, basically, destroy the old foundation to build the new one, and that's what they're doing. Um, what it also means for us is that we get to perhaps evaluate beliefs and practices and systems that we have perhaps just engaged in that have become routine, that maybe have lost their meaning. And so when we're challenged by someone leaving the community, um, we find ourselves having to look at what we're doing and reevaluate why we're doing it. And maybe for some people, it's allowed people to see, well, this practice that I'm doing doesn't work for me anymore. It's not to say it's evil. It just might have um, lost its function in your life. So yeah, I kind of I don't see people like Doreen or others leaving the community as necessarily. It's not really a bad thing. Oh, obviously, it's upsetting for those who have relied on her teachings for a very long time, on their teachings for a very long time. It's not just Doreen. Um, and obviously, it's a bit sad that we won't get any more material from these people. At the same time, it allows new energy to come in. And, we talk about the new age a lot. What is the new age? For me, it's a new mindset, it's a new way of approaching things, it's a recognition of the collective wisdom, spiritual wisdom of humanity. So instead of being um, anchored to one belief system, we see the wholeness, we see the wisdom in all faiths, um, and we work, and we also see the connecting dots, like something like meditation. It exists in all traditions. It's in Christianity, it's in Hinduism, it's in Buddhism, it's in paganism. It's it's a fundamental. Sorry, sore throat. It's a fundamental practice of all, pretty much all spiritual traditions. Contemplation, meditation. Um, and so the New Age is an acceptance that there are qualities and practices within different faiths that link up, that are connected, and they are indicative of the shared human experience. So yeah, the new age. I guess people will say, well, why step back into the old? Why step back into old systems and old programmings? And I'll say from my own experience, to a point, it's a safety comfort thing. Sometimes it's easy to step back into that kind of a belief system because we're tired of doing it on our own. One of the big things about the new age spirituality that is outside of the institutions is that we're doing it on our own. We're creating our own path. We're creating our own expression. We are expressing ourselves. And sometimes that can be really exhausting. Sometimes we want to step back and we want other people to kind of not even do the work for us, but just kind of lead the way for us. We want that kind of prescribed technique. We don't want to have to create something for ourselves because it is exhausting. And I, that was me at the end of last year. I was exhausted, and I wanted to settle into something that, a well-worn path, a well-trodden road. It's there. Your A to B. And even in that, I wasn't comfortable because I saw the potholes in the well-worn road. And when it comes to something like marriage equality in the church, you see a lot of potholes, a lot of potholes. Well, all good. I absolutely, even the people that disagreed with marriage equality, I could see where they're coming from. And all blessings to them too. There was a genuine fear, and that's because they just don't understand. It's outside of their experience, and that's cool. I've got a good friend of mine, and he's connected with a lot of very fundamental Christians, and he and I agree. We've got to be able to see their side. We've got to be able to understand their perspective. And so when someone like Doreen or anyone else leaves and suddenly goes onto that fundamental line of thought, we have to go, well, why is that? Why is that? And instead of judging, try and understand. Because it comes back to comfort. She obviously was exhausted carving her own path. And so she needed to step back into an environment that allowed her to just follow along for a bit. Good on her. If that's what she needs, if that's what she needs, good on her. I wish her all the best. And it's the same with everyone else who goes back to institutions. Yeah, if that's what they need, good on them. Because I get it. Yeah, I get it. Because sometimes carving your own path, it's really tiring, really exhausting. But anyway, I do hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I've started once a day, I'm pulling a tarot card and I'm learning what the symbols are. I will put up a video soon about Osiris and one about Thoth, Jehuti, and Osiris Wasir. But yeah, I just thought I'd have a bit of a chat about this. So if you see these personalities leave the community, by all means, lament the loss of that personality, but acknowledge as well that it gives us a chance, each of us a chance, to maybe step into the gap they left and contribute our own message to the community. So, yeah, blessings. Have a wonderful day. I'm hoping I get over this cough, cold thing. We're in the middle of winter here in Australia, so sorry if my voice is a bit croaky. But yeah, look after yourselves. Be safe. Be well. With all these weird astrological things happening, don't lose your head. And look after yourselves. Take care, guys. Cheers.